Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, looking in the mirror, and instead of seeing doubt, fear, or fatigue, you see someone powerful, someone destined to succeed. That image, that shift, doesn't start with luck. It starts with a thought. Because every great achievement in your life begins not with action, but with belief. Your mind is like software. And for most people, that software was written by accident, by teachers who doubted you, by family members who limited you, by failures that stung deeper than they should have. But what if I told you you could rewrite that program entirely? That's exactly what we're about to do. In my seminars, I often ask, what's the difference between someone who knows they can win and someone who hopes they can? The answer lies in repetition, mental conditioning. As Tracy says, in maximum achievement, your subconscious mind makes all your words and actions fit a pattern consistent with your self-concept. If your self-concept is weak, no strategy will save you. But if it's strong, everything changes. Everyone wants success. Yet most people walk through life repeating internal scripts like, I'm not good enough, I'll never make it, or success is for others. These are affirmations too, negative ones. The mind doesn't care whether the story is good or bad. It believes what it hears most often. So starting today, we will replace those inner scripts with something better, with truth, with power. With 12 affirmations designed not only to inspire you, but to rewire you. These aren't just sentences to say in front of a mirror. These are mental commands backed by neuroscience, structured with clarity, and tested by high achievers across industries. You'll discover why most affirmations fail and how to fix that. The psychological reason repetition works, according to Stanford researchers. The 12 most powerful affirmations to install in your mind and how to use them for maximum impact. So before we begin, ask yourself, what do I believe about myself that's holding me back? Because by the end of this video, that belief will no longer exist. Let's start by understanding why affirmations work, not as wishful thinking, but as a fundamental tool to reshape the architecture of your mind. Why affirmations work. The psychology behind repetition. Imagine your mind as fertile soil. Every thought you repeat is a seed. Over time, with repetition and emotion, that seed becomes a belief, and beliefs shape behavior. This is the power behind affirmations. They are not magic phrases or empty motivation. They are deliberate mental instructions designed to shape your identity through repetition. Tracy often teaches that you become what you think about most of the time. This is not just a motivational line. It is backed by psychology. Your subconscious mind cannot distinguish between what is real and what is repeated. According to research from the University of London, a repeated thought takes an average of 66 days to become automatic in your behavior. This is how affirmations work. They install a new internal script through consistency and emotional intensity. Let me give you a real example. In one of my leadership seminars, a participant named Denise admitted that every time she entered a boardroom, she told herself, I'm not cut out for leadership. Although she had experience and her team respected her, that inner script kept her silent during important meetings. I suggested she begin saying every morning and evening, I am a decisive and respected leader. She did. Within 3 months, Denise led a major product launch and was promoted. What changed first was not her skills. It was her belief system. Affirmations function through what psychologists call confirmation bias. When you repeat something with conviction, your mind begins to look for proof. It filters your reality to match the command you've given it. Tracy calls this a mental operating system. Once installed, it runs silently in the background, directing your responses, actions, and even your emotions. Here's how to begin. This process yourself. Step 1. Identify a thought you want to believe, something empowering, stated in the present tense. Step 2. Say it out loud 3 times each morning and 3 times before going to bed. Step 3. As you say it, close your eyes and imagine it as already true. Step 4. Smile while you repeat it. Emotion accelerates belief. Just as muscles grow with repetition and resistance, beliefs strengthen through repeated suggestion. Your identity is shaped by what you feed your mind consistently. The number one mistake people make with affirmations. Most people try affirmations and quit within days. Why? Because they expect instant results. They say things like, "I am confident," while feeling insecure, or "I am wealthy," while drowning in debt, and when nothing changes, they give up. But here's the real issue. It's not that affirmations don't work. It's that people are saying the wrong thing in the wrong way. Let me explain. Imagine trying to water a rock and expecting a flower to bloom. That's what happens when you repeat a statement that your subconscious immediately rejects. If the affirmation feels fake or exaggerated, it creates internal resistance, not change. Your brain is too smart for vague declarations. It needs specificity, emotional truth, and repetition that aligns with your lived experience. I once coached a young graphic designer named Leo. He kept repeating, "I am successful" every morning, but deep down, he didn't believe it. In fact, every time he said it, he felt like a fraud. So we rewrote the affirmation to say, "I am improving my skills daily and growing closer to the success I deserve." That slight shift made all the difference. It felt believable. Within 6 months, he landed 2 high-paying clients and tripled his income. He didn't jump to the final result. He built the bridge of belief. As Brian Tracy says in his book, Goals, your subconscious mind requires exact instructions, generic. Affirmations lead to generic results, or no results at all. But when you craft an affirmation that resonates emotionally and feels like a small step ahead, not a giant leap, your brain will begin to accept it. Here's a framework to avoid the common mistakes. Start with truth. Anchor your affirmation in something you already believe. Make it progressive. Use language that shows growth, not perfection. Use vivid language. Include emotional words and clear images. Say it with feeling. Monotone repetition creates no change. Belief requires energy. For example, instead of saying, "I am confident," you might say, "Each day I speak with more clarity and courage." That creates momentum. It speaks to progress, and your mind can start to believe it. The mind doesn't change with empty noise. It changes with structured, emotionally engaging repetition. Affirmations work, but only if they're built the right way. Crafting affirmations for maximum impact. Most affirmations are like fog, blurry, directionless, and quickly fading. But when crafted with precision, affirmations become like laser beams, sharp, focused, and powerful enough to rewire your subconscious mind. The difference lies in structure. Let's start with a key idea from Brian Tracy. You become what you think about most of the time. But thinking alone is not enough. To create affirmations that actually transform your thinking, you need to apply 3 essential principles: tense, emotion, and ownership. First, tense. Your subconscious mind operates in the present moment. It responds to what is, not what might be. That means instead of saying, "I will be successful," you say, "I am becoming more successful every day." The shift is subtle but powerful. Future tense signals uncertainty. Present tense commands action now. Second, emotion. Flat affirmations fall flat in the brain. You must feel what you say. This is why emotional words matter. Don't just say, "I am calm." Say, "I feel a deep sense of calm and clarity in my mind." Attach emotion to your words and the brain treats them as real experiences. Third, ownership. The affirmation must begin with I. It must feel personal, non-negotiable, and rooted in your identity. When you say, I am or I choose, you're anchoring the statement in your self-image, and that is the foundation of lasting change. Let's take a weak affirmation like, I want to be rich. That's a wish, not an affirmation. Now let's apply the formula. I create value every day and abundance flows to me easily. Present tense, check. Emotional language, check. Ownership, check. In one of Brian Tracy's corporate training sessions, a CEO shared how a single affirmation transformed his leadership. He stopped saying, I hope I can lead effectively, and began saying, I am a calm, decisive leader who earns the trust of my team. Within months, employee engagement scores rose dramatically. Why? Because he believed differently, and so he acted differently. To apply this lesson, follow these steps. Step 1. Write down a specific area you want to improve. 2. Create an I statement that affirms progress in that area. 3. Make it present tense and emotional. 4. Repeat it daily with feeling while visualizing it as true. The goal isn't to lie to yourself. It's to speak the truth of who you are becoming, repeatedly, until it feels natural. Affirmation. 1. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose success. There is a moment, just a split second, between any event and your reaction to it. In that space, you have all the power in the world. Most people give that power away without even realizing it. They let outside circumstances, difficult people, or past failures dictate how they think and feel. But the truth is, your thoughts are your responsibility, and your mind can be trained. This first affirmation, I am in control of my thoughts and I choose success, is not just a feel-good mantra. It is a declaration of mental leadership. It tells your brain every day that you are no longer a victim of reactive thinking. You are the architect, and success is a conscious choice. Brian Tracy emphasizes in No Excuses that discipline starts in the mind. He wrote, You are where you are and what you are because of yourself. Everything you are today, or ever will be in the future, is up to you. That begins with thought patterns. If your thoughts are undisciplined, your results will be accidental. If your thoughts are intentional, your results become predictable. Let me share the story of Marco, a financial analyst who came to one of my business workshops. Every time something went wrong, late trains, canceled meetings, negative feedback, he spiraled into frustration. He felt powerless. I introduced him to this single affirmation. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose success. He began repeating it in the mornings and whenever he felt triggered. Over time, his reaction speed changed. Instead of frustration, he moved into solution mode. Within 6 months, he was promoted, not because he was the smartest, but because he was the calmest and most resourceful under pressure. Here's how you can use this affirmation. First, say it aloud the moment you wake up. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose success. Second, pause throughout the day whenever tension arises. Take a breath and repeat the phrase. Third, at night, write down one moment when you successfully chose a better thought instead of reacting. The more you do this, the more it becomes automatic. Your thoughts shape your emotions. Your emotions shape your actions, and your actions shape your results. This affirmation is the cornerstone of mental ownership. And once you master this, every other affirmation builds upon it. Affirmation 2. I deserve to be successful and happy. One of the greatest hidden blocks to achievement is not a lack of knowledge, resources, or opportunity. It's a quiet inner voice that whispers, I don't deserve this. This voice is subtle. It hides behind overworking, perfectionism, or even self-sabotage. And yet, it's responsible for countless abandoned goals and unfulfilled lives. This is why the second affirmation is so powerful. I deserve to be successful and happy. It strikes at the root of unworthiness. It affirms that success is not reserved for the lucky, the gifted, or the privileged. It is available to those who believe they are worthy of it. Brian Tracy wrote in Maximum Achievement, "You will never earn more than you believe you are worth." This isn't just about money. It applies to love, joy, peace, and fulfillment. If you subconsciously feel undeserving, you will push away opportunities, doubt compliments, and limit your own growth. Let's look at a real example. Carla, a highly talented software developer, consistently delivered brilliant work, yet she never applied for leadership roles. Deep down, she felt she wasn't the type to lead. During a coaching session, I gave her one simple affirmation to repeat for 30 days. I deserve to be successful and happy. She resisted it at first. It felt untrue, but she kept going. On day 21, something clicked. She started speaking up more. She applied for a team lead position. 6 months later, she was promoted and leading a project with international impact. The shift began in her identity. Psychologically, this affirmation interrupts the belief that your value must be earned through struggle. It affirms that your worth is intrinsic. According to a Harvard Business Review article, people who believe they are worthy of success are more resilient under pressure and more consistent in performance. Here's how to integrate this affirmation into your life. 1. Stand in front of a mirror each morning and say, "I deserve to be successful and happy." Look yourself in the eye. 2. Write it down 10 times in a journal before bed. This activates both visual and kinesthetic reinforcement. 3. Each time you experience a success, big or small, say the affirmation aloud to lock it in emotionally. The goal is not arrogance, it's alignment. You're aligning your inner story with the truth. You are worthy. Affirmation 3. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. This affirmation might sound familiar. It was first popularized by French psychologist Émile Coué in the early 20th century, and later adapted by thought leaders like Brian Tracy. But don't be fooled by its simplicity. This phrase holds immense power when used consistently. Why? Does it work so well? Because it focuses not on perfection, but on progress. It bypasses the critical mind that argues, "You're not there yet," and installs a deeper truth. Improvement is happening, even if you don't see it in the mirror today. The brain responds positively to patterns of growth. When you affirm daily progress, you reframe your failures and delays as part of a larger upward journey. Brian Tracy once explained that confidence grows when we acknowledge forward motion, not just results. He said, "Success is not an accident. It's the inevitable result of continuous improvement." This affirmation programs your mind to seek out and appreciate that improvement. Let me introduce you to Jamal, a university student who struggled with low grades and low confidence. He came to one of my talks feeling defeated, saying, "I'll never catch up." I taught him this single phrase, "Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better." He committed to repeating it every morning before class and every evening before sleep. Slowly, his outlook shifted. He began studying longer, asking questions, and turning in better work. By the end of the semester, his GPA had increased significantly, not just because of effort, but because of belief in forward motion. This affirmation also works because it's flexible. It applies to health, focus, finances, relationships, anywhere you want to grow. It creates what psychologists call a growth orientation, which fuels motivation and resilience. Here's a way to make this affirmation part of your daily rhythm. Start your morning by saying it 3 times while brushing your teeth. During the day, each time you feel stuck or frustrated, pause and say it mentally. At night, write down one thing, no matter how small, that got better today. Over time, this trains your mind to scan for progress instead of problems. You shift from judgment to appreciation, from pressure to growth. Affirmation 4. I take action immediately and decisively. Success doesn't wait for perfect timing. It rewards those who move, who decide, who act, especially when the path isn't clear. This is why our fourth affirmation is so crucial. I take action immediately and decisively. It programs your mind for momentum. It trains your subconscious to overcome the greatest enemy of success: hesitation. Hesitation leads to procrastination. And procrastination, as Brian Tracy outlines in Eat That Frog, is a silent killer of dreams. He writes, "The ability to act without delay is the key to high performance. You can read books, make plans, and dream all day, but without action, nothing happens." This affirmation bypasses the thinking loop and pushes you into doing. Let me tell you about David, a small business owner who constantly hesitated on marketing decisions. He'd second-guess every campaign and miss opportunities. We worked on one affirmation only. I take action immediately and decisively. I had him write it in bold letters on a note above his desk. Every time he found himself stuck, he'd read it aloud. Within weeks, he launched 2 new campaigns. One failed. One brought in 200 new leads. Without that decisive action, neither result would have existed. From a psychological perspective, this affirmation builds a bias toward execution. It conditions your brain to associate decisiveness with identity. In a study from Columbia University, individuals trained in decision-making affirmations were 37% more likely to follow through on new habits after 21 days. Why? Because the brain begins to expect action as part of who you are, how to implement this affirmation into your daily life. Say it the moment you feel doubt creeping in. I take action immediately and decisively. Set a 3-minute timer. Commit to taking any action. Email, call, sketch, write. Reflect nightly by writing down one bold action you took that day. You don't need clarity to act. You need action to gain clarity. This affirmation turns hesitation into movement and movement into mastery. Affirmation 5. I learn from every experience and grow stronger. Failure is inevitable, but what you do with it, how you interpret it, defines your future. Most people see failure as a sign to stop, but high achievers see it differently. They see failure as feedback, as growth, as part of the process. That's the mindset this next affirmation creates. I learn from every experience and grow stronger. This phrase rewires your brain to respond differently to challenges. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" it encourages, "What can I learn from this?" That simple shift turns every obstacle into a stepping stone. Brian Tracy frequently says, "There is no failure, only feedback." And neuroscience supports this. A study from MIT found that individuals who reframed failure as learning showed greater resilience and faster skill acquisition than those who internalized mistakes as personal flaws. In other words, this affirmation literally improves your brain's ability to adapt. Take the example of Lily, a junior salesperson. Her first quarter was dismal, missed targets, no major deals. She was crushed. But instead of quitting, she started repeating this affirmation daily. I learn from every experience and grow stronger. She began reviewing every lost sale, identifying what she could do differently. By her third quarter, she not only exceeded her quota but became the go-to mentor for new hires. This mindset is not accidental. It's trained. And this affirmation is the tool, how to use it effectively. Each time you experience a setback, say the affirmation aloud. Anchor it in the moment. Keep a lesson log, a journal where you write one thing you learned from each mistake or challenge. Pair the affirmation with action. Ask, what will I do differently next time? Over time, this shifts your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who fails and begin to see yourself as someone who learns and evolves. That belief changes everything, from your confidence to your outcomes. Affirmation 6, I radiate confidence and attract opportunity. Confidence is magnetic. It draws people, ideas, and possibilities toward you. But here's the truth. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you practice. And this affirmation, I radiate confidence and attract opportunity, is a daily rehearsal of that practice. This phrase does two important things. First, it affirms that confidence comes from within, not from approval. Second, it sets an expectation that the world responds positively to your self-assurance. You're not just confident, you're a magnet for good things. Tracy teaches that confidence is the byproduct of self-discipline and preparation. But even before results come in, the belief must be there. This affirmation helps build that belief. Let me share the story of Theo, a quiet software engineer with big ideas but little visibility. He felt overlooked in meetings. I introduced him to this affirmation and challenged him to say it 10 times each morning before entering the office. He also began visualizing himself speaking with clarity, standing tall, making eye contact. Within 2 months, he was leading presentations and getting invited to strategic planning sessions. What changed wasn't just how he felt. It was how others perceived him, because confidence radiates, and science supports this. A Harvard study on power posing revealed that individuals who stood in confident postures for just 2 minutes experienced increases in testosterone, linked to dominance, and decreases in cortisol, linked to stress. When combined with affirmations, the effect multiplies. You not only feel more confident, you become it. Simple way to integrate this affirmation into your daily routine. In the morning, stand tall in front of a mirror, shoulders back, head high. Say slowly, I radiate confidence and attract opportunity. Visualize yourself walking into a room, fully grounded, eyes forward, voice calm. Throughout the day, anytime you feel nervous, silently repeat the phrase while straightening your posture. The combination of self-talk and body language rewires not just your mind, but your entire presence. You stop waiting to be chosen and begin showing up as someone worth noticing. Affirmation 7. Money flows to me through value I create. Many people chase money as if it were hiding from them. But money isn't something to chase. It's something you attract by becoming valuable. That's the essence of this affirmation. Money flows to me through value I create. It replaces scarcity thinking with contribution thinking. Instead of asking, how can I get more? It asks, how can I become more valuable? Tracy often says, your income is a direct reflection of the value you provide to the marketplace. This is not about working harder. It's about working smarter, with the intention to solve bigger problems and serve more people. When you focus on increasing your value, income becomes a natural byproduct. Consider the story of Raul, a freelance designer who kept undercharging and struggling to find consistent clients. He believed clients didn't want to pay more. I asked him to repeat this affirmation every day. Money flows to me through value I create. More importantly, I asked him to act on it. He began improving his portfolio, learning new skills, and communicating clearer benefits to clients. Within 90 days, he doubled his rates, and clients still came. Why? Because his mindset shifted from survival to service. Psychologically, this affirmation aligns your self-worth with your contribution. According to behavioral economists, people who link income with internal value rather than external validation are more likely to take initiative, pursue creative solutions, and persist through setbacks. They don't see money as luck. They see it as alignment. Each morning, say it aloud with a smile. Money flows to me through value I create. Ask yourself, what value can I add today? Then write down 3 specific actions. At night, review those actions and note any feedback, progress, or lessons. Over time, your focus shifts from needing to earning, from desperation to inspiration. You stop seeing money as scarce and start seeing yourself as a source of value. The morning ritual, loop. Morning is a sacred window. What you think and feel in those first moments shapes the tone of your entire day. That's why the final 5 affirmations are designed not just to stand alone, but to work together as a powerful ritual. One that wires your brain for clarity, gratitude, energy, focus, and vision. These are not random phrases. They are strategically chosen to activate your highest mental states. By repeating them together each morning, you create what I call a morning affirmation loop, a cycle that reinforces the identity of the person you're becoming. Here are the 5 affirmations. I start each day with calm clarity and strong intention. I am grateful for who I am and what I have. I feel healthy, energized, and in control of my body. I focus on what matters and release what doesn't. I see my future clearly and act in alignment with it. Each affirmation targets a specific area of your mental architecture. The first centers you. The second opens your heart. The third energizes your body. The fourth sharpens your productivity. The fifth guides your long-term behavior. Brian Tracy is a firm believer in starting your day with mental alignment. He wrote in Goals, "Clarity is the starting point of all success, and this routine gives you clarity before distractions even begin." Let me share how Mia, an overwhelmed executive, used this loop. She'd wake up anxious, reacting to emails, and feeling behind. I suggested she spend just 5 minutes each morning saying these affirmations out loud while walking slowly through her living room. After 30 days, her mood had stabilized, her team reported improved leadership energy, and she stopped skipping workouts and healthy meals. It all began with 5 minutes of conscious programming. First, write the 5 affirmations on a card or your phone's home screen. Next, dedicate the first 5 minutes after waking to reading them aloud with emotion. Finally, after each affirmation, close your eyes for a few seconds and visualize yourself living it that day. The goal is not perfection, it's reinforcement. This loop becomes a mental anchor, pulling you back to your best self each morning. Success is not an accident. It is not the result of luck, talent, or perfect timing. It is the result of consistent thinking, disciplined, intentional, and focused. Over the past half hour, you've been introduced to a powerful set of tools that can completely rewire your mental landscape. Not in theory, but in practice. Let's take a moment to recap the path we've traveled together. You've learned that affirmations are not just words. They are mental instructions that, when repeated with belief and structure, shape identity. You've discovered why repetition works, how to avoid the most common mistakes, and how to craft affirmations that your brain accepts and your actions reinforce. You've internalized 7 core affirmations, each designed to target specific blocks and accelerate growth. I am in control of my thoughts, and I choose success. I deserve to be successful and happy. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I take action immediately and decisively. I learn from every experience and grow stronger. I radiate confidence and attract opportunity. Money flows to me through value I create. And finally, you've received a complete 5 affirmation morning ritual designed to anchor clarity, gratitude, energy, focus, and vision into your daily routine. But here's the truth. None of this matters unless you act. Mental rewiring only happens through daily practice. As Brian Tracy says in Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life, you cannot afford to think thoughts that do not serve your goals. This is not a motivational quote, it's a warning. Your thoughts are either pulling you forward or holding you back. There is no neutral. So here is your challenge. Choose 3 affirmations from this list, the ones that hit you hardest, and commit to saying them every morning and every night for the next 21 days. Speak them aloud. Feel them. Visualize them. And then, take one small action that aligns with each. You are not repeating words. You are reprogramming a system that will carry you further, faster, and with more purpose than ever before. Grab a pen. Write down what you've learned. Choose your 3 affirmations. Begin your practice now. Your future is not shaped by circumstance. It is shaped by the thoughts you allow. Choose them wisely. Speak them daily. And let your actions confirm them. Change your affirmations, and you will change your life. Starting today,